and welcome back to Hunter's Gathering. Usually, this is your chill, behind the scenes look at game design, music design, art design that happens with role playing games, and more. But today, what we have for you is an official alpha playtest for the Gods of Metal Ragnarok. The Kickstarter for this will be coming in early 2021. Earlier in the show, we went over things like art, world, character, and really awesome exclusives that you can run into for the Kickstarter itself. But right now, what's about to happen will be Rock Ultimate. And the GM that will be doing this for us is Ivan Van Norman, co-creator of Hunters Entertainment. Ivan, please.
Hello, hi, and welcome. Thank you all for coming out on our little alpha playtest. As you can see, I am wearing my tech black because I've been watching your stream this entire time, like typing and trying to get as many things together for this this kind of behind the scenes look, because that's just what it is. This is exactly how everything is done all the time. But I'm stoked because this is one of the first times that we're going to take some of your characters, which, you know, we've had lots of internal play tests with everyone that's at this table today, and like done some notoriety 0, which for the game notoriety 0 basically means you are fresh into Ragnarok. Nobody knows who the F you are. You are basically brand new to this magnanimous world, and you are trying to make a name for yourself, right, as an avatar. But we're gonna try this, where I'm gonna try to like make everyone a little more powerful, just to kind of see if it breaks anything that we've made at this point to make you all more powerful, and see what happens. Like, see if giving you more power over the case of it, it's like we have to find ways to scale back. So full disclaimer, you know, there's a good chance that anything I do here will not work, and it will mean that we'll have to adjust it accordingly. But I will say that every single time we've all come together to play the game, it's always gotten better. Every single time we run the game, it has literally become better as a result of it. And I'm super excited for our chat to have an opportunity to give some feedback and look into it, and Ben's boldness, Ben, to go and be like, yo,
break it.
Break it. Yeah. You know, and also basically invite anyone who wants to come in and play with as well too, which is absolutely what we all are about, right?
Yeah. Oh, and just real quick then, to let everybody know, because we do Hunters Gathering in different halves for our YouTube viewers and other VOD viewers. So if you want to be in an upcoming playtest, then Ben has volunteered his email for you to contact him. That is Ben at huntersentertainment.com for an upcoming playtest for Gods of Metal Ragnarok. So
Gods of Metal Ragnarok, yeah. And I was gonna.
I'm sorry, Gods of Metal
Ragnarok.
There it is. Yeah, that was.
You need to go back and watch the old video to get Ben's email. But you gave it to him easy. You gave it to him easy.
It's right off the top. Yeah, it's good. We're full of gifts tonight. Full of
They're
gifts.
gonna be invested in this playtest. They're gonna stick around.
Just don't sign me up for weird things.
Well, now that you've said that, they're going to. You know.
Oh, Ben, why would you say that?
Could you censor that? Can we take that off?
JB,
can we redact it? Can we just mute it?
It's canon now, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's already there.
So I'm gonna actually use this opportunity to kind of explore and create, and by explore I mean describe, and say everyone who's playing stuff tonight. Normally I have you describe your characters, but tonight I'm going to describe who you are, and continue to make adjustments to your character sheet as I describe who you are.
Go for it. Yeah, I want to hear how you see this.
Yeah, I'm interested.
Yeah, no, I'm ready to kind of like lay into it, to kind of have an opportunity. So as we talked about in Gods of Metal Ragnarok, there are 2 worlds in which we basically embark on. Now there is the world of which is the namesake of the game, Ragnarok, which is this epic heavy metal fantasy world that is inspired by heavy metal albums everywhere. And this is a world in which the metal gods reign supreme. And there are problems in this world that continue to that continue to need to be solved. And the problem is the world of mundania. The world of mundania is the land of boring ass mortals that all are living terrible, monotonous, stupid lives. People like Jerry Goldfarb, who's an adjuster at Humana Life, or Mitty Pressman, who's a docent at a science center. I actually was going to potentially go, I think we even wrote it as a children's science center, because why not? And then Chad Hunt, who is a clerk at Cockbluster Media. And then we've got, Cornelia Sprinkle, who's a sub-assistant and a sanitation specialist. And these are all people who live normal, regular, everyday lives. People like Mitty, who are constantly being put to work while their manager goes and like smokes a joint in the back room, and so she's got to deal with 15 kids vomiting, burping, and spilling things all over the science center everywhere. And people like Jerry, who have constantly been told to stay in their lane, do their job, and not make a lot of noise, and are just repressed and oppressed over and over and over again in the name of efficiency, which is what mundania is all about. These people have reached a boiling point of just sheer outcry and desire to do something more with their life rather than what they are doing, that they have become a shining beacon in the darkness for the metal gods, who are always observing mundania and looking for more warriors in which to bring into the world of Ragnarok to fight for the name of metal, right? And they send their lead angels, the Rognu skull, to come and break through these dimensional barriers and rip these poor mortals from their life and shuck them through the umbilical descent, which is this giant spiraling tower that lives on the horizon of the world of Ragnarok. And through some secret ritual of which the avatars all go through, but can no longer remember once they have gone through the process, they eventually are spit out into the world of Ragnarok, fresh, baby-faced, glorious, and having no fucking idea what's going on. So our avatars, Jerry Goldfarb becomes Gorf, a follower of Fenrir, who has chosen the position of a brutalizer, who has decided to arm themselves with the tattooed flesh suit. It's not even his own tattooed flesh. He's wearing the suit of another creature that has been tattooed in order to intimidate and impose itself upon others, with a skull belt buckle, wielding iron spiked drumsticks, which also can act like both clubs and daggers at the same time. People like Mitty Pressman become Carthusis, who is this Eldritch-inspired, otherworldly follower of Fenrir, who again, both Fenrir from Gorf, which Gorf and Markia have both picked, or Gorf and Carthusis have both picked as their tone. There is absolutely zero issue with everyone picking the same kind of tonal affinity. But Carthusis is the howler of the group, and they summon things with a song. They use their voice in which to invoke the air around them, and bringing the world of Ragnarok to bear using the chord of creation through their own voice. And they've decided to basically rock in electric rock flute, which is a ranged weapon that does massive area of effect damage and has a spiked Cthulhu. Did we call it a onesie, or did you have a way more metal name for it, Markia?
I called it a galaxy printed onesie.
A galaxy printed onesie. Okay, I'm going to adjust
like
that.
It has the galaxy swirling on
yeah,
this
it's
onesie.
Moving, right? Constantly. It's not a print. Like
no,
literally
it's like
stars and galaxies are moving.
They are built like the wrestlers of old.
Right, perfect.
Like
yeah, we've got a spiraling galaxy luchador onesie, which I'm intent, but complemented by a halogenetic fanny pack, which allows them to absorb even more feedback than they normally would. And we'll get into feedback in a bit. Feedback is the counter wave of the tone of awesome that the world of Ragnarok inspires. When you get feedback, it
along
basically
with
your own awesome. Yeah, go ahead.
along with wolf boots and a cape made out of piranha.
Yeah, that's right. Well, we have all seen the art. We all know that point. If you haven't, go back and look at the like the live draw with Caleb. Like there's a lot more details to this, but these specific items I'm pointing out are actually very important to the mechanics of the game. The electric rock flute is a weapon. The galaxy printed onesie is the outfit, and the halogenetic fanny pack is an accessory. These are the three like core I would say they're legendary items that each avatar comes with when they come out from the umbilical descent and go into the world of Ragnarok. Chad Hunt, who's our clerk at Clockbuster, in the world of Ragnarok, he is Chunthor, the ever weeping. All right, focusing on the tone of calamity, which is again the great, the great bringer of both emotions and also just what was it? Was calamity is water. Um, uh, wow, this is the joys of me trying to remember my own game. Water, law, and death. That's right. So calamity is pure woe. They are blackness. They are raw emotion, magnetism incarnate, and woe, and 100% Chunthor the Ever Weeping is woe. But they're also a shredder, and they use their instrumental affinity, which is the only position in this game that requires you have an instrument in order to be affiliated with. The base of pain is this weapon that you bring to bear, which is a very heavy hitting ranged weapon, if I remember correctly. Well, it is now, if not. So, you know. But in doing things like necrotic damage, you get a sleeveless pirate coat, which is providing an armor boost for you, very standard for good outfits. And then my favorite, the weeping mask, right, which also does dark vision. But we're gonna have your weeping mask do some more cool things today, because one of the mechanics of this game is that once you've picked your gear, you get to now assign abilities to them based on how far along in the game you've gotten. So if you have, and we have a whole list of them. Like this is actually the most open-ended part of this game, is being able to decide what abilities you want to attach to your character and how do those actually manifest themselves into the game. So right now the weeping mask gives you dark vision, but we're gonna pick some more for you, Chunthor.
I cannot wait to share my woe with all of Ragnarok.
Yes, it's perfect. And last but not least, Cornelius Spinkler, who is my first time I'm seeing this character tonight, our sub-assistant at sanitation. In the world of Ragnarok, he is Gargamel Gorefinger, the plunger of fate. And they've picked a new god. So this is one of the things about this game that's so fascinating is, yes, we've established 6 metal gods, but there's actually a 7th category that you can pick in the game, and it's called the new gods, all right? Which is basically this subdivision. It's like, it's not Zeus, it's not Hades, it's not Hera. These are like, what are the Apollos, and what are some of the like lesser gods in this world that technically are affiliated in many ways under some of the major gods, but have carved out their own little world of Ragnarok. Because guess what? This is a game of epic heavy metal fantasy. I can't fit everyone's fucking cool thing into 6 categories. So as a result, Gargamel Gorefinger has taken on a new god and is looking to vie and gain and give tribute to Malador Muckfucker, the Eldritch god thing of filth and decay. All right, I'm so excited about this. So excited.
I apologize before we start, but I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
And you're a howler.
A howler too, yeah, 2 howlers.
Malador, right? So 2 howlers.
I guess we should have said this ahead of time, but content warnings involve adult language.
There will be adult
theme,
language and Ragnarok.
We will have swears.
Rock and roll. And
so I'm actually, it's funny because I am very much on the fence right now about deciding whether or not to either asterisk out, our F letter 4-letter word or not, or if we just want to put it in the book. I mean, I know if we put it in the book, I'm going to have to do things like shrink wrap and put like stuff on it. But part of me just wants to do that just because, You
I
know what I
mean,
mean?
you know, forbidden fruit, you put it into a shrink wrapped package and it's probably going to sell a little bit easier. I
Yeah.
don't know. If you tell
I
them they
don't
can't
know.
have it.
I mean, if I, you
Ooh,
know,
just
go ahead.
put a
Yeah.
black belly band around it so it's
Mhm.
blocking some of the art.
Yeah, like
There you go.
like Playboy, like old Playboy magazines, where they
Yep.
would put like the belly on the side of it, just to be like,
Mhm.
oh no, you can't have this, and then every kid like tries to hide it. So,
Oh no, this game is dirty. I don't know why I'm doing this. I'm sorry. It's just
you
You're
can
already
keep,
there.
no, you
That's
can keep
Shuntor.
it going. That's how you can hold on to Chunt Thor as long as you want. But that's definitely one of the things I'm on the fence with. It's written with a lot of like, with kind of like no holds barred. If you know, if an F word comes out in the book, it's just in there at the moment. It's usually in very much in fun and epic nature. But you know, I don't know if I want to do like rated R rules where I get like one, right? Or TV rules, I get one, or if there's something else that we want to play into. But yes, you know, Malador is going to be focusing on the new. We're going to have a new god experiment with that today. So
Can I say something really fast? Penguiny
please.
11 has
No.
just mentioned, what if there was one of those parental advisory stickers on the front of the book that they used to put on
It's
CDs?
brilliant. That's brilliant.
So I've seen those. Actually, if you look at a game called Power Chord, they do exactly
They do
that.
that. Okay, you're right.
They do
Okay,
that
good.
right in the front. And Penguiny, as much as I actually love and how kind of that's a basic into it, there's a part of me that kind of makes it, that kind of feels like the sellout, right? Because that whole label was made as a result of censorship. And that was the thing of, that was a whole,
Yeah, it's the comics code all over
that was
again.
it was the whole discussion of like putting that there, and like people like D. Snyder and Frank Zappa all went to literally you know, Congress in order to make this argument, and the byproduct of that, right? D. Snyder and Frank Zappa and who was it? There was also a country uh, country road, like
what a way
literally.
to rebel then, to kind of claim that as your own and make it easily rippable off.
Right. Yeah. I mean, guess actually, I like it. Maybe it's a sticker that you can just pull off. In fact, it just says "Rip here" on it. Maybe something like that. Yeah. Can you imagine John Denver, D. Snyder, and Frank Zappa all going to court to literally talk about the same thing? Because that's exactly what happened.
We could also put a sticker on the front of the book that says "fuck you."
There you go. There you go. Perfect.
It says, actually, it literally says like content warning. Fuck you.
Fuck you.
You know.
Content warning. Fuck you. It tells you everything you need to know.
Inside.
Yeah.
I'm writing all of these notes down.
Oh
This is
man.
brilliant. This is good stuff.
Yeah. No. This is literally how.
Thank you for joining us, chat. You guys are amazing.
Thank you for going through this process of, this is exactly what our streams tend to look like as well too. So.
Well, this is literally
the
what
good
our
stuff.
meetings are.
Yeah.
Like
This is the good stuff.
this is our planning meetings.
100%. So yeah, so we have our 4 today, which is good. This is a little smaller than what we usually do. We've sometimes run this with 4 or 6 people, or up to 6 people at times. But I'm excited to kind of like explore the world with you a little bit in here. So let's break this down, because I still have a few more things that I want you to do before we hop into the world here. So Gargamel, your character needs about another 5 ranks in the skills in order to associate with them.
Easy.
In order to lay out. I'm going to say the same thing. Chad, or aka Chunthor, I actually need you to put 15 into yours in order to associate as well too. And the good news is you can start thinking about it now if you know what it is, but I'm going to read each one of these skills and kind of talk about what each one of them do, so that when our audience can hear it, and so that all of you can hear what each one of these skills are as well too, because this game is very much a dice pool based system. So the value of your skill determines how many d4s you roll in the game in order to decide if you've succeeded or failed or not. I believe we actually associated all of yours, Carthusis, but if you want to make some adjustments, now's the time. Or if you want to hop ahead and go start looking at additional abilities, I'm going to be giving people 3 more ranks of abilities in which to be able to level up as well for their character. Then I believe Gorf only needs 3 more, unless, again, you want to mix and move yours around a little bit too, Gorf. It's just so fun to say your names. I have to say, I appreciate saying everybody's names. So,
I'll probably need
Verbal
some
gymnastics. Oh, go ahead, sir.
for skills. just some definitions of the skills.
Are you ready? Because I'm ready to give them to you.
What's cram?
Let's go. Okay, I'm gonna read them all. I'm gonna give you all of them. Don't worry about it, Gorf. I'm gonna read them all
Okay.
to you. Okay. So
Thank you.
Bash is literally the melee weapon skill. So bash is how you use your melee weapons in order to destroy things. But it can also be just the physical strength element of it. Bashing, lifting, pushing. It's both like a strength check and also your melee weapons check, all rolled up into the same skill, right? As a result, bang is the second combat skill, which is the ranged combat ability. That's things like, you know, pinpointing. It's about precision. It's noticing little details, and bang covers all of that. Cram is the equivalent of a knowledge check, you know, and I did myself the service of actually writing these down in a way that I actually enjoyed writing them down. So I'm going to do myself that honor of, or give myself that ease of being able to actually read it, versus having to come up with it on the fly again for the second time. Yeah. Bash. Using this skill has the intent of trying to hit something with something at a distance. Oh, sorry, bang. Be it a lightning bolt, an empty beer bottle, or a heavy repeater. Pew, pew, pew. Bash. This skill is all about bashing something in the face. Hit it with your weapon and watch it bleed. That's bash. This cram. This skill is focused on the learned art of learning. How many facts you can fit into that cranium of yours? Did you know that you can swim in the arteries of a blue whale? Tributes, when you do cram and you spend tributes on cram, it can be used for things like remembering something important, identifying cool shit, especially magic shit, writing it down somewhere so you won't forget it, contract negotiations, or speaking street ogre so you can blend in better. Implore. So imploring to the gods is making a deal with your patron metal god. When you implore, you're asking the gods to provide you with power at the cost of additional feedback. This often comes with consequences that will be paid farther down the line. It's also kind of the standard how do you look at the world of the gods around you in the world of Ragnarok? Like, how, if you look at something, can you identify that might be a sigil or a very clear sign of calamity's influence, right? If you
So it's
look
kind of
at,
like a religion check.
it's a
in
lot
a
like
way?
a religion check. Yeah. You know, imploring is a lot like basically how you do religion. And it can even be as simple as these skylined mountains. These are clearly have the energy of Fenrir around them. Like they are imbued with the energy of Fenrir, kind of a
But you
situation.
could also use it as a way of like getting like a helpful hint from the storyteller if they want.
Yep. Or additional powers. What were you saying, Markia?
Depending on your god, then do you get anything in implore to begin with, since we all picked a tone?
See, that's a really good question, and I have an answer that I'm not satisfied with. The answer right now is no, because just because you pled, you've gained affinity towards Fenrir and you've chosen to devote yourself, does not mean you are learned in that god. Just because you've chosen to invoke yourself to Fenrir does not mean you have studied the ways of them. You might just be blundering through Fenrir's glory and not even knowing that you're doing it right, but you're doing it right? So there's a part of me that wants to give those kind of bonuses to, you know, the tone that you've already picked. But then there's also a part of me that just wants to make it so that if you want to actually be learned in what the gods bring up, then guess what? You know, you start dumping some skill ranks into that kind of a situation. But again, I'm not satisfied with that answer, but that's where I'm currently at the moment. So Forge, which is the next one. Do you have any thoughts? Is there any, I'm not looking at your screen right now, so I can't tell if you have any thoughts on your face or not. But if you have thoughts, I want to hear your thoughts.
Makes sense.
Yeah,
Although the
no,
next one
I'm
is
literally
feelings.
trying to figure out where I'm going to put these 3 points, which is why I'm just...
Okay, copy that. Copy that. So Forge is hands-on knowledge. You can't learn anything you know from reading. You can't learn everything you need to know from reading a book. Sometimes you got to buckle down and get your hands dirty. and that's what the skill's all about. Tributes for Forge are used for things like fixing Ragnarok gear, identifying cool shit, especially non-magical shit, literally forging things with like a hammer and fire, making fire with wet sticks and a fart, building sweet barricades. That's what Forge basically allows you to do. Feelings, on the flip side, and the folks and creatures in Ragnarok have emotions too, for good or ill. The choice is, do you talk them off the cliff or push them over? So tributes and feelings can be used for like trying to work through all the junk you're dealing with right now, or that identifying that the lich looks like they're having a bad day, convincing the warlord that he doesn't really like being a warlord, or bringing the mood to this party. So that's what feelings ostensibly do. They're about what you would expect from the process, right? Then you've got legend smithing. This is the art of telling the story bigger, better, and more amazing than anyone else. It's not that you need to get inside right now. It's that you need to get inside because otherwise the haunted ghost stallion is going to kill the king. All right. Tributes are basically used for telling people the glories of your actions, persuading or convincing others that you're way cooler than what you are. You can actually use the skill to gain what we call exposure. Exposure is like the experience in this game. Like the more cool things you do, the more exposure you get, and then you can use exposure to gain notoriety and grow up in the ranks of metal goddom as a result.
And also to pay your rent.
Apparently. Hey man, you know what? I didn't kill these 4 frost trolls just to get fucking exposure, man. Like pony up the gold. But you can use things like legend smithing to get a hookup from local vendors or bookies in order to make your life easier as well, too. Or as I put on the last bullet point, just earn the edge on any conversation. Legend smithing puts you, on the forefront of pretty much anybody's mind. Magicka, which is a relatively new skill. Magicka is very much about using the chord. I'm going to write this down as I'm hearing what I said. It's using the chord of creation to your designs and whims. Magicka really is aligned with like all of the weird shit that's going on in Ragnarok, and usually it has to tie with what the avatar's abilities are. So a lot of the abilities in the game will often use Magicka. They will not always use Magicka, but they often will. So you can kind of think of them as like your root magical ability in order to use it. So if you're going to do something magical in the world of Ragnarok, often you will be using the Magicka skill in order to make that happen. You've got notice, which every game needs a notice check, right? How else are you going to prompt the DM to tell you more about what the fuck's going on in the room and hence give them a clear answer on what's going on? So I think what I wrote down is just because you're good at shooting something or looking good while shooting something doesn't mean you even know it's there. You want to see details, you got to look for them. So also, it helps let the GM know you're stuck. Tributes can be used for things like noticing the Cyclop has really bad pink eye, or the fucking way out, or that Mr. Fluff and Friendly is a weird and perhaps inappropriate name for this pet in a death labyrinth, and checking out the details, right, of what's going on. Next is pharmacopoeia, which is medicine and healing. I mean, avatars get banged up a lot. Who's going to patch them up? Sure, your band may have some healing magic, but what happens when that asshole is face down in the dirt? That's right. Also, what's up, poison enthusiasts of Ragnarok? So tribute for pharmacopoeia can be, making bandages and splints from local flora and or monster parts, crafting deadly poisons, and identifying tons of weird and wacky effects and how to brew them up. Reverse engineering weird stuff, reverse engineering weird stuff. Then you have Slink, which is your all-encompassing stealth check. I haven't written anything fun or cool for that yet, but it's coming. And finally, Stunts, which is a very much all-encompassing lift, pull, run, jump, swim. It's all stunts. It's all stunts. Do cool stuff. Finally, we have another 2, which I've added here, is we have, and these are a little more of expansion on the knowledge, like cram, right? So you've got your cram, But then you've also got your street knowledge. So we literally have streets, so it is a street skill. The world of Ragnarok has lots of cities, not just deadly, environmental. So what are you going to do when you've got to take care of what needs to be taken care of inside of the city? And likewise, what happens when you're in the wilds? And that's the other skill. So we have streets and we have wilds. One is how you manage things inside of the urban parts of Ragnarok, and what happens when you're managing yourself in the wilds of Ragnarok and everything that is random and crazy as a result of that. So questions, comments, concerns from my players at the moment? Thoughts, feelings? Did we all lay down our skills while I was just like vomiting
Yes, we
out
did.
stuff all of the time?
No, it was good
All
vomit. It
makes
was
perfect
beautiful.
sense.
Beautiful
Mhm.
vomit.
Yes, I'm sure. As the god of filth,
Yeah.
as the great Malador would say, vomit is amazing.
Vomit is beautiful.
Vomit is beautiful.
Praise be the
Every-
vomit.
Everybody pukes.
Everybody pukes.
Everybody pukes. So let's see. All right, so that's kind of how we are as far as skills go, and then we're gonna make sure that everyone's got their gear, all your gears level 3 now, right? And I've adjusted damage on, I believe, all of your weapons. If you still have a weapon that has damage 1, please tell me, so I can adjust it appropriately.
Everything's level 1 on mine.
Great. And then everyone should either have a defense of 2 and or 3 as well.
Mm-hmm.
More likely to
Okay.
be 2. So I think Gargamel, you need to have a defense of 2. Looks like
Yeah.
Thor needs a defense of 2 as well. And Carthusis will give you a defense of 2 as well. Just because
I had a 3.
I know you did, but now I'm changing it.
Test it.
We'll
Test
have
it and tell us
and then
how it works out.
what I'm going to do,
Fine.
Gorf,
It's
I'm going to
fine.
give you a
They
defense.
will
of
level up their onesie again.
Mhm.
Yes.
I get a defense of 3 because I have stripped flesh as my
Stripped
armor.
Flesh.
It's kind of what you do though, is you absorb attacks.
Yeah, versus some other ones who absorb feedback as a result.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
The onesie of the cosmos will shine once again. Don't you worry.
Now I still have a speed on my accessory.
yes,
Are we
so
still doing speed?
Speed, we are definitely still doing speed. Speed is so speed now in the game. So there's been versions of speed in which it's been like multiple dice or a single dice, and they've been used like action points. Presently, speed is being used where when you are in combat, you can actually adjust your die result when you roll initiative, so to speak. You can adjust it by your speed in order to better coordinate and harmonize with your
for
fellow.
harmonization.
Yeah,
Right.
for
That makes a lot of
harmonization.
sense.
You know,
Right.
so the higher speed, the more flexibility you have in order to do that. And I'm learning right now that speed is actually incredibly powerful.
Yeah,
The
it
difference
is.
between 1 or 2 is huge. So I'm thinking at this stage it's going to have to be a pretty expensive upgrade in order to basically allow people to get up to that. So that's why most people are at speed of 1, and I believe only Midi and Cornelius are speed 2. Again,
Mhm.
just to see what the F happens, right?
Mhm.
To play into it.
Mhm.
But now for the final piece before we get into actually playing this game is I want, because you're all notoriety 3 at this point, you get to pick you get to pick 3 ranks of abilities. And why the reason I say ranks is because you've already got 3 abilities lined up and you have a single rank in each one of those. Good example is that Gorf has Cyclone 1 that they have applied to their weapon. They have Intimidate 1, which they've applied to their flesh suit, and they have Light 1, which they've established to their belt buckle. Versus Carthusis, who has area damage applied to their rock flute, their weapon, light attached to their outfit, and then max feedback 1. Attached to their fanny pack. Now you get to basically go and expand additional ranks in those abilities, and or take new ranks in new abilities and apply them to whatever you want.
And we get 3 ranks of those.
3 ranks of those because you're now notoriety 3 for the purposes of this.
And we can spread them out or put them all in one.
Spread them out however you want.
I put my 3 in skills. Are you saying that I can put those
3 in
So you got 3 in skills, and now I'm telling you, aside from that, you've done that. Awesome, good. Break those bones, throw them in the pit. You get 3 tiers now of abilities, not the skills, which were the bash, bang, cram, implore, feelings. These are all of your abilities that you activate in the game. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. And we have our giant, crazy Ragnarok abilities, spreadsheet that, we can absolutely, I think people have seen at this point. I know anyone who's done internal playtesting has seen it. I'm sure JB would love for me to basically say that if they're feeling sassy enough, JB, if you're feeling sassy enough and you want to give a quick peek on that spreadsheet, you're welcome to, but you're under no obligation to either. So
I'm sure there's an email that they can contact if there's other people that want to be involved.
I'm sorry, what?
I'm sure there's an email that they can email.
Who would they email if they wanted to get involved?
Also, on an unrelated note, cheesesoftheworldnewsletter.com. There you go.
I actually would love that. Like, if I could sign me up for as much cheese as you want.
Dude, don't make me hungry for cheese. Because like literally the only cheese we could get tonight would be like Domino's or something. I can't like order.
There's a lot of talk of pizza
on a Friday night, Or camembert, my favorite.
Dude, I have to tell you, I like to, when they talk about eating your feelings, you can eat all of the variety of feelings with whatever kind of cheese is out there, because there's just that many cheeses that lead to feelings. So
they're so good.
Markia just totally
I'm like
cheese moment.
I'm a big advocate for cheese. Really, this is something that y'all don't know about.
Same. Hard same. Big same.
It's all good. It's all good. You can.
And just hearing about this right now, I'm like, everything in my refrigerator is
not cheese related.
Substandard for the cheese that I now want.
Yep.
I'm so sorry.
So I am super interested in this create barrier.
Yeah. Okay.
Under brutalizer.
It's a new one.
It is. Can I attach that to my drumsticks and keep Cyclone?
Yeah, you can. You can have a tier 1 Cyclone, and then you can have a tier 1 create barrier. Both can be attached to your drumsticks.
Okay, I'm doing that.
And then the good news, and then the other good news is, then if you want to, since I'm giving you 3 ranks to spend right now, if you want to go to create barrier tier 2, now you can pick an element and or expand the length and or expand the height and or turn it into a damage barrier with an additional rank.
Amazing. I am
where do
going
we
to definitely
look at the manual for these? I think I looked in all the wrong places, because like the things that I looked at were struck through.
Oh, in the abilities.
I'm gonna chat it to you right now.
And please tell me the ones that you're picking so I can make sure that there's skills assigned to your abilities as well, too.
And I'm going to use one of my remaining 2 to level up my Intimidate to 2 on my flesh suit.
Does your armor boost get any better, or is it just the defense, or for outfits?
Giving high fives to my family as they go to bed.
Nice.
Awesome.
All right, so I have made some adjustments here, Ivan. I used the stat reduction for my morale weapon, and I gave that for the gore cannon, the grody gore cannon.
Okay.
I gave that 1 rank, but I also then added 2 ranks of blight.
Blight. Okay, cool. And Blight is that a Howler ability? Remind me.
It is. These are all Howler. I stayed pretty true to that because the character that I was trying to create was somebody who could debuff the enemies.
Right.
Like my focus is really to do that, and then also mess with the tribute pool and try to get feedback and like try to be a support character, a Howler that's kind of playing a little bit more differently. I actually came up with the concept and then started looking through the positions and found that I could do this easiest with a Howler.
Okay, love it. Yeah, that makes sense, and I want to be able to hear that feedback too, because I know that there will be people who are going to want to play like max damage, max tribute, flexibility, and I want to make sure that I feel like that's not a single pathway, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So you're doing 2 ranks in Blight or 3?
Well, I'm doing, because I wanted to spread it out a little bit. Okay, so I did 2 ranks in Blight because we were adding 3 ranks to everything that we had here already. So I added 2 ranks of Blight, and then I added 1 rank into my summoned creature because I have like a sidekick that I summon.
Right.
And so I made that a rank 2. And then I have 1 last rank to put somewhere.
Right. Because technically, by the time you're done, you should have 6 ranks total across the board. So, yes.
Yeah. And so I currently have, it looks like I have 6 total. Yeah. So it looks like I hit it already.
Okay.
Because I also have the feedback chains, which I is the plane shift ability. But the way that it works is that I can use the chains to either adjust the pool so that I can tether myself or someone else here, kind of like a Hail Mary. If they get thrown into Mundania, I can like temporarily prevent that from happening. So maybe there's an extra round of attack or an action.
Got it. Well, I'm going to tell you right now,
Phoenix down.
Blight is going to be probably going to use Pharmacopoeia as its skill. So just an FYI.
Interesting. So I'll need Pharmacopoeia.
Yeah, if you want to make adjustments to doing that, because Blight's probably going to use Pharmacopoeia because it's all about poisons, right? And Blight.
Yeah. Tell me about Magicka. What the skill is new. So like we've talked a little bit about
Magicka, for example, is basically how you. So when I was talking about like, is this a magical item or is there magic in these hills? Think of it like a general detect magic skill, but in addition to it will, like, for example, elemental damage death requires magicka, generate daylight requires magicka, even things like generate darkness, like anything that has magical effects that don't directly relate to a skill is probably going to be using things like magic.
Well, it seems like I don't need that, so I'm going to get rid of that and put that into my Pharmacopoeia. Problem solved.
Okay, done. Yeah. See, again, no problem with that. Because what I want is I want people to feel like that these skills and these abilities all tie into each other, and it's not just this is the one magic ability.
Right.
You know what I mean? Right. Which then just everyone's just going to be like, okay, I want bash, bang, and magicka, and then they have all their combat problems solved.
And then it's like, problem solved.
Yeah. So I and then go ahead. Sorry.
Can I take an ability from a different tone? Because Finrar doesn't have a lot of abilities under them.
So here's a fun game. What would you like to do?
Well, I definitely took Radiance, where a target cannot activate the next round, like with presence. Like my character is very much about the boombastic. It's like they're either 11 or they're at a 2, and that's where they exist.
Do you want to hear? Do you want to hear an exciting thing right now, Markia?
No. Always.
Guess what skill Radiance is going to use?
Legend smithing.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's going to use legend smithing.
I love that so much because that's perfect. It's perfect as because it's like an attack and a social. So it's just like, so I have a radiance of 1. And I've got 2 more that I can use. So I'm going to do that a radiance of level 2. So does that mean that the target couldn't do it for 2 rounds? So
what happens is Radiance, and I'm typing it in right now, when you take multiple ranks, you have to pick the upgrade that you want. Ooh. Okay. So what happens is that
blinded by their excellence.
Yes. So the duration.
Wait, I already have light. That blinds them.
Yeah, but this is still actually, we can call it, instead of radiance, we can call it distraction. We can literally just call it distraction.
No, radiance is fine.
Distraction. Let me see. But the distraction does describe it a lot better. Let me just make sure I haven't done it twice.
Radiant distraction.
You can call it radiant distraction if you want, if that's the name of the ability that you want into it.
Name. That's
okay, sure. Keep it as a street name. So, but then again, when you're going to be putting multiple ranks into it, one. So I've determined 2 right now. You can do additional target, so you can spend a rank, so that when you do spend the tribute cost to activate this, basically you can pick 2 targets, right? Well, actually, no.
I'll do that. I'll put 2 in that, and then I'll consider another one to put an additional rank into.
All right.
Because it's like it's under our god or it's under everyone.
It's
And I
either
guess
under your god or under your tone or under general. And for the record, if there are more things that you think Fenrir can do that would be interesting to you, because you're right,
yes.
Fenrir does need, they need a little more. I agree. And a lot of it's going to be like, I'm still trying to decide in which category beasts lie into, whether they're going to be under Shrika or they're going to be under Fenrir. You know what I mean? So part of me wants to make Fenrir bestial in the sense that they
Yes. That's why I have an idea for an ability. Okay. So, Fenrir is, intensity, tenacity, like bestial, like you said. And a lot of things that happen, in the plant world or in like the beast world, everything is latching on to something else and leeching the life out of it into yourself.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
I
draining.
would love an ability to be able to do that. With
Okay.
Suckage.
Life drain. Basically a life drain.
Yeah.
You don't just want to call it suck?
Yeah, we can. Suck is it can when you name the ability and it turns into something, it can be called suck,
Well, we could call it you suck.
Yeah.
The suck.
Yeah.
The suck.
That's right.
Yeah.
The
Okay.
suck.
Cool.
I had one last question.
Yes, please.
So I have one. So I wanted to use attack boost. Put a thing in an attack boost because I like that idea of targeting a teammate and adding 1 damage to their next damage value.
Yeah.
But is that, in order to activate that, is that losing a turn?
No, it's not losing a turn. You're using a tribute in order to do that. So you're spending a tribute in order to basically give a plus, an additional damage to another avatar. So you're spending a tribute to do that.
So on your turn, you roll, like say I get like 5 tributes. I just use like 3 for attack, and then I use 1 to
do an attack boost, and then give it to whoever you think you will want it. And if you put more ranks into it, it becomes more valuable. You can actually do things like for 1 tribute, you can give them a +2 attack.
Got it.
If you spend more ranks in it. So
got it. Cool.
All right.
I'm gonna do that in my skull buckle so I can thrust myself at the person I want to give the attack boost.
The artwork in the book supports that, so good choice.
Yeah,
it does.
It actually does.
A lot of thrusting.
So Chunthor, you've been a little quiet. Have you picked out all of your additional abilities and skills yet?
I believe so. I amped up my base of pain to level 3 elemental damage emotion. It does emotional damage.
Awesome.
It also does level 1 hallucinations, so it can make different things appear, one thing appear somewhere I want it to be, and somebody can see through it. Of course, I'm sure there's a roll against that. My sleeveless pirate coat still has armor boost of 1, but now it has a speed boost, so I can do as a devotee of Kekatari, I can do either an additional move or action per battle if I spend a tribute, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And I had my weeping mask. It still has dark vision of 50 feet, which is pretty great. I was thinking of giving it dampening, which is it's a support skill, which allows you to reduce the amount of feedback that one of your pals take if they roll poorly.
Yep. No, agreed. So do you have 6 total there? Like, is there 6 total ranks across the board then?
There are 6 total ranks.
Yeah. Yes. That's awesome. So with your emotional, so the one I'm interested in, since you've taken 3 ranks in emotional damage.
That's 3 of my ranks.
Elemental damage emotion. The first rank obviously allows you to take it, right? You can turn your weapon into an elemental damage. Did you want to spend the 2nd and 3rd rank just to increase the damage?
Well, it was already level 1 for emotional damage. I just increased. Oh, do I have to spend the second rank?
So yeah, because each time you take a new rank, you basically spend it on an upgrade in that ability, and for elemental damage, that can easily be just damage, right? So when you're doing right now, and this is kind of how my brain's going about with it, is that so it's 1 point for upgrading, and then 2 points if you want to do elemental damage. Yeah, actually, it would look like this. So in the first rank, you spend a tribute, and it turns your weapon's damage into elemental damage emotion. So you're not adding any damage to it, you're just changing its damage type for the first rank, right? Now, if you're going to spend more ranks into it, you're going to potentially say, okay, not only now am I going to upgrade it to, you know, elemental damage emotion, but now it's going to do extra damage if you wanted to go into rank 2 or rank 3 kind of a situation. So
how much more damage are we talking about? Just like 1 or 2 points, right?
Yeah, 2 points, you know. So it can be basically, if you're going to take rank 3 and you want basically take the damage upgrade for each one, then think of it like this: for every ability, for every tribute you spend, you're going to get +2 damage in addition to it being emotional damage whenever you use that ability.
I just want people to be sad.
Oh,
yes, no,
that's
yeah, they'll be sad, they'll be crying. No, this is great. No, that's exactly what I wanted to do. And yeah, and then I just gave a speed boost and then dampening.
Perfect.
And hallucinations, and that's it.
Okay, cool. Where is your Chunthor sheet? Because I'm actually not seeing the reflections on your
I will put it back into the folder here.
Okay. Oh, is it not in the folder? My bad.
No, I
downloaded it
so that I could adjust it.
Yeah, I see. Okay, yeah, you can do it live too. That's the joy.
I did not know that.
You can totally do it live, boo boo. It's all good.
Sweet.
Because what I want to do is I want to look at it to make sure that I see it the way that you see it as well too. So you can absolutely overwrite your Chunthor as well too. Welcome everyone to the glory of game development. So
yes, all right, I'm fixing it now.
Yeah.
All right, all done. Well. And all done in like 1 minute.
Yeah.
There we go.
All good. Yes. All right. So here we go. Let's go back and let me just refresh. Oh, look at all that. Look at all that. Emotional damage 3 plus hallucinations +2 damage. There we go.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I see it now. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
cool.
That's kind of how we're playing into it. So you have hallucinations 1, elemental damage 3, aka emotions. Oh, wow. And by the way, I don't know if I told this to you, but I wrote actual rules for elemental powers.
What?
So it's not just, oh, I'm doing this type, whatever. We actually have legit elemental damage.
Madness.
So
will you
check
be able to get to that during the playtest?
Yeah, I know we can run it. I'm sorry, we haven't played a minute of this, but I'm still having a good time.
No, this is good, and we're still figuring things out. I was so torn between a Howler and a Cordmaster, but I really again was trying to do something specific with that tribute stuff. But yeah, the elemental stuff is really attractive.
Awesome. It is. I know it's perfect because the Cordmaster has all elemental stuff. And just so you know, Caleb, what emotional damage does is that whatever damage you do to a character that takes emotional damage, however much damage you dealt, you roll dice equal to that amount of damage. And if the tribute that you roll is equal to the monster's challenge rating, which is something the GM has as part of its back end, it doesn't activate for the next round. So it's ostensibly a stun. The emotional damage can potentially be a stun. Is what
so
it
good.
is.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. You know?
That's really smart. Nice job.
Yeah. Shut up. Okay, let's play a game.
Good job, Ivan.
Good job.
And that's Ragnarock.
I'm just trying to make it fun, everybody.
No, it is fun.
All right. Well, any more questions before we just hop into it and we can kind of see how these games, see how these new rules play out? So, you know.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. All right. Let's do it.
Let's do this.
All right.
Do
it.
Chunthor.
Yes.
You have been wandering the world of Ragnarok for a while. You have gained some notoriety. You've killed frost trolls, right? You've battled in the arenas. You have watched other avatars die, banished back to Mundania, right? You have lived to see another day. Every hour that you spend in Ragnarok continues to kind of be both terrifying and both intoxicating and self-empowering all at the same time, because you know that your destiny lies here. And in so many ways, you started to drink the Kool-Aid that also tastes like the salty tears of your running makeup.
It's my favorite flavor.
The flavor of salt and emotions. And as a result, you've started building up a little bit of a following. Denizens from your world, from the world of Ragnarok, they tend to sometimes find comfort and excitement in following certain bands of adventurers, not only so they can just see the amazing things so they can tell it firsthand, but also in so many ways they sometimes just feel safer being around them than just in their very insecure homes and either the fringes or in the inner workings of all the world around Ragnarok. And part of this, you've managed to run into. Well, you've kept your two bandmates who are with you, Carthusis and Gorf, both part of your original band members, and you've done a lot of these adventures with both of them. And as a result, the three of you have been wandering with this small kind of group of like 10 or 15 people, who are literally 20 feet behind you. And in fact, two of them have taken the time to physically build out a small cart. It's not much bigger than a rickshaw at this case, and in this way they're treating it like a rickshaw because they're carrying all of your stuff in it as well too. But you've been wandering the wastes of Ragnarok with this rickshaw, and kind of just taking the world around you, knowing that you don't really have a destination in mind, but you're going from settlement to settlement. And you about a day ago, you left a small town that was on the foothills of the land of the ice and snow, because that was where kind of some of your first adventures were there over there, right? And in this case, you've been kind of making your way towards the giant towers of Enkorgon. All right, Enkorgon is up in these tall kind of spiral like mountains. They aren't the big like spine of the world kind of mountains that the land of the ice and snow was. This is more of a Mount Doom giant, volcanic pillar in the front. But if you can imagine like an anthill shaped mountain that has these creases coming up, but then each one along the creases have these impossibly erect and tall towers that are just shooting up almost like a boring drill into the sky. It's these colossal stone skyscrapers. And you've heard that Enkorgon is a magical city. It's filled with a lot of the powerful the powerful entities and a lot of the sorcerers and magicians, because guess what? Denizens of this world, they have magic too. And sometimes they invoke into their own ways. But this arcane metropolitan, it sits upon this volcanic hill. And as a result, the walk that you've been going into has mostly been filled with like at least 1.5 inches of ash filled with darkened trees. And, darkened trees like acidic springs. Some are even bubbling in some circumstance, heated from the geothermal like heat underneath of the ground around you. And it's in this environment that you see a small campfire laid in front of you with a small kind of wisp of smoke standing out. And as you get closer, this overpowering stench just smacks you right in the face. It is awful. And there seems to be a person that's sitting, it seems to just be roasting something on just a stick at the moment. But you can tell that they're an avatar. I mean, it's hard not to tell an avatar. Avatars, if nothing else, are at least much bigger in size and stature than denizens of the world of Ragnarok. And yeah, you kind of watch him as he's laid out in front, and he hails you, kind of raises his hand in the air and motions you over to the fire.
Chunthor, by the way, I could just imagine all that stuff happening in like this sepia toned like montage as Carthusis and Chunthor and Gorf just like walk through the valleys and plains and mountainous regions with our instruments slung on our back, you know, or tooting on our flute, what have you. Toot.
There's a single flute toot in the
just one. As Ivan takes a breath from the narration, Carthusis, toot, and everybody's like,
it's more like a roar, but
okay,
perhaps to the uninitiated.
There you go, perfect. I raise Chunthor raises his muscular arm in greeting, then turns to his fellow band members. Hey fellas, looks like we might be in the market for another guitarist or something. What happened to the last one? Anybody remember?
I believe he was eaten, was he not? If not, I'm sure that there is a legend that I can smith upon this.
I'm sure there is. Has anybody fed the groupies before we go over there and talk to him?
Oh, they need to be fed.
No, every so often, you know, if we like come across the Sbarros, I'll throw them across.
Carthusis looks at the trail of dragons that they have behind them. They're groupies.
Oh, fair enough.
Oh, I'm sorry. What's the question, Carthusis?
No, it's like Carthusis looks at the trail of groupies behind them, and I would like for the groupies to be dragons.
You want them to be. You want them instead of them being denizens. Instead of denizens, you want them to be dragons. How about
little?
Can we make a compromise in that your rickshaws are being carried by dragons at the moment, and they're having to be
please. Just little flappy wings.
They're just
We want the dragons involved. These little ineffectual dragons that are only good for heating up hot pockets. And
they're kind of like almost like in fact some of them have to be laid up like huskies, so they have like 3 or 4 of them just to get one rickshaw moving enough to make it be worth it. So you know,
that makes me even sadder.
Wings.
Yeah, but and Gargamel, you can kind of see as you're roasting your dinner.
They're giant rats, by the way. They're rats.
Rats.
Yeah, they're skewered through. There's like 3 of them in a row, and they're turning on the spit.
Perfect. And you've split like their mouths open so that you can go and can you like taking the teeth and fashioning whatever Gargamel likes to fashion with giant rat teeth. And you see these 3 avatars walking forward, and they look. I won't say like they don't look like avatars all love the smell of their own farts for sure, right? So do you, being the provider of your new god. But these, you know, they seem pretty chill, and fuck yeah, if they got a couple rickshaws being pulled by some, I guess, dragons, right?
Absolutely. Can I have my creature summoned, or is that something that I would have to do?
You can totally have for the purpose of this, you can have your creature. Would you describe it for me?
Yeah. So there's like this rocky outcropping, and the fire's been lit in this small section, and there are just a lot of dead things that have kind of been splayed out, and there's a cloud of flies that are sort of hovering over this area. And as Ivan said, there's this horrid stench. However, you didn't notice it at first, but there's this long reptilian tail that drags off onto the other side of a rock. And as you get closer, a figure kind of turns out, and you see a shadow silhouetted by the fire, and then it moves, and it has tiny little arms and these giant reptilian scales that kind of work across this massive body. But this is a Ragnosaurus Rex baby. So it is a giant T-Rex type beast, only instead of an open mouth of teeth, it has tentacles that splay out like a squid. Giant big bulbous eyes, and it's also looks
super
a little
top heavy
sick.
still. Is it
it looks
super top heavy, but it's just got like wriggling things coming out of its mouth.
Yeah,
and
so you know, Cthulhu with little tiny arms.
Yeah, it's pretty much Cthulhu with little tiny arms. It's like if Cthulhu and a T-Rex.
Can we see this?
We would be getting this. Yeah,
he summoned it. It's out in the middle of his campfire as it kind of like lifts its head up with its wiggling, dangling around, but its tiny arms with its giant overbalancing tails.
From under his mask, Chunthor's eyes become as big as dinner plates, and he slowly rotates his head to look at Carthusis to see what expression she has on her face.
Carthusis, they are looking at this, and it's just like, what?
I want to say, like, at the exact same time, Chunthor says, "What?"
And then if you look over at Gorf, it's just a look of pure joy. Exactly. I'm gonna kill it.
Oi there! Hello.
Wait, Gorf.
Fellow avatars, I see. Great, a wonderful.
We are
chance meeting.
Carthusis. What are you called?
I am known as Gargamel Gorefinger. I've just come from the depths of your mother's vagina, and I am here.
Sorry.
I have also.
Weird, so have I.
Haven't we all?
It was long and deep, but I am here now to fight the good battles.
Yes, I don't remember it, but it sounds like a tale worth telling. My name is Carthusis the ever. No, it's not. My name is Chunthor the ever weeping.
I am Carthusis Artifact.
I must admit, I'm a little confused at this point. You are Carthusis, and you are Chunthor.
We are Carthusis, yes.
All of you are Carthusis, or some of you?
No. Carthusis is using the royal we.
Yes. Well, with great power.
Yes.
Carthusis is a collective.
Yeah, they are a collective. They are Carthusis.
Well met. And Gorf.
Hi.
Power shake, like grabs your arm, and when he does and he lets go, there's a smear of slime that like separates in this thick viscous fluid. It's not like, I don't know, it stinks.
Your food is repellent. Your beast friend here is in just inscrutable, and your stench is appalling. It brings tears to my eyes, and I love it.
Can I fight your beast?
No, you cannot fight Spunk. Spunk is a good boy. Throw that bone over there, and Spunk will show you a trick.
Okay. I grab the bone.
Just reel it in a little bit, Gorf.
All of my strength to chuck it.
I just envision that what happens is the Ragnasaurus Rex like raises up its head really happy, its big bulbous pitch black eyes, and then its tentacles splay out, and like this protrusion shoots out and just shatters the bone and then pulls it back into his mouth.
It did not move. It is lazy.
Yes, it is. I'm so proud.
I love it.
That's Daddy's little girl.
Amazing. What do you do here so close to Inkagal, the impossibly erect?
Unfortunately, the erections destroyed my other traveling companions. They were crushed underneath the weight of enormous pillars that fell, and they were girthy.
Yes.
Many died.
It appears that your land is stricken with the blue pill.
It is, in fact, the blue pill that we blame for these atrocities.
We came from a land of the red pill.
It's a
choice.
Giant, the darkened sky has this like very royal kind of blue into it that has these like kind of aurora borealis of like continuing spikes of like this lighter teal sky into it, and it seems to just be swirling into this magnanimous energy that's centered around Enkorgan at the moment. And Gargamel, your poor original band was crushed under the weight of these pillars, attempting to claim some of the magical abilities of some of these these archlords, these denizens. You've heard they put up a pretty good fight, but they got the best of most of you, is what I'll just try to say. And these are, by the way, some of these that, and I didn't get a chance to plant this information for you beforehand, but I'll let you know now, is that these were rogue denizens. These are like they're basically archmagi from Enkorgan who often go rogue because they are tired of basically being under the thumb of avatars, and they've made this kind of this group of wizards together that attempt to go and bring down Enkorgan all the time, and avatars are constantly having to face them, sometimes with the assistance of the Enkorgan High Council as well too, but not always. And sometimes avatars are just happy to just blindly go in and just wreck as many faces as possible, sometimes with good results and sometimes with crushing erect pillars.
He looks over these. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, please feel free.
I was just gonna say he looks over this group and then and is sizing them up to see if perhaps they're up to the task.
If you were paying attention to that exposition just then, we're part of that second kind of adventurer. We are here to make messes and avoid cleaning them up. But currently we are on a road tour of Ragnarock. You can see our merch cart. T-shirts, 20 gold. It's pretty good. I don't know if you've heard any of our songs. We also travel as a band known as Squidfinger. We would be most honored if you would choose to join us as we attempt to mount the Enkorgan, the Unassailable, and perhaps even give you a chance to avenge your fallen band members and comrades.
Indeed.
And if we are not able to do this, we are also adept with hiding our messes under felled erect pillars.
That's it. Well, they wouldn't be erect, would they, Carthusis, if they were felled?
No, they would still be erect if they were parallel to the ground, because it is stiffness, not velocity within air.
Ah, okay.
What say you,
Gorf? Want to argue this with me?
Gorf, what say you?
Fair enough.
I like smashing.
Wise words.
Yes.
I like smashing. Can I have a squid thing? I want a squid thing.
No,
look, we're here
no.
to make sure that Gargamel, did I say that right?
Yes, it's pronounced Gargamel.
Gargamel.
No, yes, Gargamel.
Feels emotionally whole by the time we are finished with this quest. So I think we should take the city and try and find his fallen comrades and go through their shit. I feel like that's the least we can do.
I have already gone through their shit, my friend, and I have taken what was necessary to see that these magi pay for the evil that they have wrought upon this land. I follow Malador Muckfucker, a new god. Will you travel with one who does not follow the way of the six? Many will not.
Sure. I mean, I'm not in charge, Carthusis.
My god is strong enough to have people of my party that don't follow real gods.
Harsh.
I mean, as long as you're okay with being a poser, I don't mind.
All right. I'm insulted, but I'm also shaking my head as if I'm actually thinking about this. Okay.
Gargamel, I must ask you.
Do it.
I am attached to nature. That is my quest, being a part of Finrar. Do you perhaps, within your ranks of bestial companions, have a cat that knows more than they should know and perhaps hunts small blue individuals of any kind, since you are in the land of the blue pill?
One might have an angelic name, even?
No, unfortunately. My god, Malador Muckfucker, is the patron of decay and filth. All creatures that come from Malador's grace are twisted, horrid abominations, like little Poopy here. Poopy. It just kind of scratches behind its left leg, and its tentacles kind of flail out. Yes,
your lazy companion.
Yes, laziness is part of the tenets of our great work. So we will sit and let things decay, entropy, rot. It's just kind of what we do.
It's got a nice beat to it, actually.
It's not bad.
Actually, it does.
It's kind of part of the nature thing. I mean, it's the part that no one wanted, but we'll take what we can get.
Let
But
us
if you
continue
follow
forward
entropy,
together.
then why do anything?
That's a great question. Why don't we just sit here and eat some rats and die?
Let us continue forward together.
Let us.
Climb the mountain and die up there then. I mean,
could
why
do that.
make it so hard?
We could die up there.
So basically, this molehill of towering spirals is what you've at least heard in this circumstance as one of the you've now identified, and Gargamel has told you that, like, Enkorgan, that the magical city that you all thought was this towering molehill is in fact one of the bastions of the renegade archwizards that have sadly taken his entire team, his entire band out. And now, as a result, with reinforcements reforged in anew, you begin to make your way towards the foothills of this just giant tower pillared dung heap, so to speak. And it's very hard to get the details of what this kind of structure is. And Gargamel, I think at this point we want to identify that, like, the group that killed you, did they go back into the city, or did they kind of start to would they still potentially be roaming around the wastelands here a little bit?
No, I think that they probably went back to try to insulate their realm and try to protect it and reinforce it, you know.
Right. And this is an Enkorgan, for the record, absolutely is a place in which avatars are allowed to go inside of it. They don't particularly like, especially this renegade group, this renegade magic, they don't particularly like avatars, because they feel like it takes away the power and the glory that real denizens have, who have actually worked the work rather than just been given divine powers and abilities. But they are still very much an incel that's hidden around the great city that is Enkorgan, center there. So as you get closer to the front gates, you can see that that each starts to have these rings, these spiral rings that lay out like a giant dartboard that kind of slowly scales up as each one cut like a tiered cake up into the mountainside. And the first walls, the lowest walls of the city start to become apparent in front of you as you get closer to it, and you can see that there are two grand gates. And a lot of the really well-established cities in Ragnarock all have some kind of fortified defenses around it, because just random bad shit happens all of the fucking time. So, but you, as you get closer, slowly start to see the two gate towers that are framing the main doors. And the doors, they're showing off. Like they're 40, 50 feet high at least, like towering double doors. And the guard pillars, they have to have they go all the way up, but there's clearly like only about 15 to 20 feet up there are these window slits that guards peer out of, and you can see there's just murder holes all around the side of these pillars as you get closer and closer into it. And the walls of Enkorgan are about as obsidian black as the actual hillside themselves. They've just been ground down and sheened into this beautiful reflective material in front of you, and you can see the sigils of the city are carved into it, which are these kind of like spiraling archaic energies that also slightly look like if you took a pinwheel and then just spun it. In fact, as you get closer to it, you can actually see that the spiring sigils, maybe it's hallucination, maybe it's Enkorgan magic, you can see them, they're twisting and kind of spinning ever so slightly, like when you see things that spin at a really high speed, but they only look like they're barely moving as a result of it. So you approach the gates, and you can see that you are the only four travelers with your rickshaw of groupies behind you pulling into the city. And you stop, and you are hailed by the guards. Hail.
Gorf, you seem to be the politician here. Perhaps you should go speak to them.
Yes, schmooze away.
I concur with Kantor.
It's Chantor, but
Wait, what?
never mind. It's fine.
Yep.
It's only like the 12th
Okay.
time I've corrected you. It's fine.
I'll go. Hey,
State your business to come into Enkogon's gates.
we're here to take care of some of your business.
What business do you have among the wizards of Enkogon?
By the way, I have nothing in schmooze.
I can't
Gorf
wait.
is not a schmoozer. I don't know why you chose to have me come up, but I just want to break down this door.
I think you know why I chose to have you go up there.
Yeah, I think.
Sorry, didn't realize. It's done.
I go. I'm gonna do it. You asked me to do it. I'm gonna do it.
Yeah. So are you gonna smash down the door, or are we gonna keep talking to the main gate here, Gorf?
Can you just open up the door?
Do you kind of wait for?
I take out my spiked drumsticks and just bash on the front door.
Okay. You kind of hear like a pause before like the Enkogon gates goes like, the first one's free. The next one we will activate the defense mechanisms of Enkogon's gate. Are you all avatars? Okay, all right. Take 3 electrical damage.
God damn it.
You can roll your defense though. Roll your defense. So.
Great. So how does that? It's. I have 3 in defense.
So you roll. Yeah. If you have 3 defense, then you're going to roll 3 d4s. Any 4s that you roll will negate a damage.
I have 1 4.
Okay, so you take 2 damage onto your meat track. As you slam your hands down for the second time, you feel like the electricity come through you as the team behind you. You actually watch this comical moment in which, for a second, you can actually feel like you can see his skeleton structure, behind his body for the moment as he takes his hands off, and you see that he is blackened and his steam is coming off him for the moment. Yeah, Gorf's hair is like out in this crazy kind of moment out in the front, and you kind of hear again the echoing voice from the guards up in the front goes, "That was fucking hilarious. Open the gates."
And Carthusis like knocks elbows with Trunthor like knocks elbows with Carthusis.
Yeah, it was like, yes, that's what we were both hoping for.
Yes, it never gets old.
Oh, you used me as a door knocker?
Well, no, just as comic relief.
He just looks over
it's
at
hilarious, and I hate it.
Gargamel's bestial companion, and it is all your work-shy companion stayed true to form. Proud of them.
It changed for no one. My go. Trunthor decides to trot up to the front of the to the door, and he's going to attempt to schmooze.
That's fair.
I mean, the door's open. They opened the door.
Yeah, they opened the door to us.
The door.
Yeah, but I'm going to try and like smooth things over with the guards.
Yeah, you can absolutely schmooze it over the guards as the gate slowly like cracks, and you kind of see as the blackened obsidian gates now start to creep open. You know what do you want to lay out, Trunthor? Are you just wanting to smooth things over? Is that what you're attempting to do?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, go ahead, roll schmooze then.
That was sick. I just wanted to let you know that we are not here to invade or anything. This is just our merch cart. The band's name is we are Squidfinger. I don't know if you've heard any of our solos or any of our B-sides, but we are here to either play whatever stages you have and maybe solve your wizard problem if you have any of that lying around.
Right, schmooze it up, roll it up to see how they take to your random dump of exposition.
Is there any way that we can aid in this? Like Carthusis randomly does flips.
So if you no, I mean, unless you have additional, if you want to assist him,
I
you
want to
can.
assist.
If you want to assist him, then you're gonna just add another die roll. You don't get to add like your schmooze ability or anything. You're just gonna add another die roll. You will take the feedback if you generate feedback, and you will take it, not Chunthor. But if you get a tribute, he can use the tribute as well. So because
Okay.
you have zero in your tribute pool.
I'm willing to Carthusis. They have entered into a new realm with a new companion. This is a time for extravagant flipping.
I open a beer.
Open a beer. All right. So Chunthor, you
like Chunthor like turns around and like one hand goes straight to Gargamel, the other hand goes straight to Carthusis doing sick flips. And he's like, "Can you? I mean, seriously."
All right, roll your schmooze. You get two. You one for your base, and then one because Carthusis is assisting you with sweet flips.
Sweet flips. I got a 3 and a 3.
So it's a wash. You did not, but you get to bank one in the tribute pool, which whoever's keeping track of the tribute pool, you get to bank one in the tribute pool for later on down the road. So
I'll since I did the first roll, I'll do that.
Okay, so I'll you kind of hear a voice again, this disembodied voice that seems to be amplified as it's coming out from the murder hole and goes, "Really, flips? You think you're not the first avatars we've seen, or more likely the ones that want to come in and deal with the black hand of the Ekorgon, the black hand of anti-Ekorgon? Let's just call it the black hand right now. That's really what they are.
We'll just call it the Black Hand.
You really think you're the only avatars that we haven't seen that haven't tried to deal with the Black Hand? I'm sorry, you're gonna have to do a lot better than sweet flips in order to make an impression here. Would you say you guys are...
show them what your squid thing can do.
Does anyone have a spare bone?
I do.
Wait.
We weren't really prepared for the dog and pony show here. It's just going to take a moment, if you don't mind. We didn't know that there was going to be a talent competition.
That's right, man. The gates take a while to open.
I grabbed one of those dragons that's taking. That's carrying our cart.
You mean our roadies? You grab one of our roadies?
Yeah.
We have like 20 of them.
It pierces the dragon and pulls it in.
So you chuck one of the dragons as the Ragnasaurus Rex kind of like opens its mouth like a predator, just and like again like a tentacle just lips up and goes through the dragon, wraps around it and pulls it in like a single figure, and just you watch as like a distended like throat just like lumps as it just like flops into its belly. And just belches a loud belch, and you hear. All right, so that was pretty cool, but it is just a dragon at the end of the day. So anyway, I'm not here to tell you to not go after the Black Hand. But what did you say your guys' name was again?
The people that are going after the Black Hand.
We are Squid Finger.
Squid Fingers. Okay, Squid Fingers. Yeah, no, I'll keep an eye out for you guys. At least I can say I saw the fucking thing eat the dragon, right? That's fun.
Man,
yes, the torpid one took down one of our rats with wings.
So the cart's a little slower now, but it seems like you guys ended on a good note with the guards, at least a non whatever note, and you slowly kind of like go through the now continuing to widen gates of Ekorgon as you kind of go into it, and you can see it's a bustling magic city, y'all. The lowering levels are all kind of the mud huts, the lower kind of the lower squalor that the city has to option. Like, this is a real high traffic area. It's right where the front gates are, but as a result of it being where the main arts, like, it's mostly all just taverns, like right in the front. Like, it's basically you walk into a circle and you can see there's taverns just like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a fucking bar hop right in front of you, even to the point of where you can see that there's one vendor who is literally on a mechanical track that seems to just be spinning on the top of this area where all this bar is, and it is a tiny train. Not, and by tiny I mean like about the size of like a modern Mundanian like car, and there's like 2 or 3 of them, so it is like a tiny train, and they're just serving foods, and they're literally putting them on fishing line and chucking them over so that people have to run over and grab it and put money onto it so it comes back up. So they're basically chasing, and you can see on the side of it, it says chase your meat on the side as it continues to like roam around the side of Ekorgond. And this is a very flashy part of it. But as you look up and kind of continue to look up to the great mountainside, you can see that they're the second and third level have much more majesty as you continue to go up and up along this mountainside. So yeah, and so you've made your way into the city of Ekorgond, attempting to find the Black Hand. Where do you want to begin?
Righteous. Gargamel.
Yes.
Where did you lose your companions?
As I said, they were destroyed by the pillars outside of the city. Now we are here, however, and I do believe that I may be able to aid us. Can I make a roll for my streets?
Yeah, dude, roll it for streets. See if you can find, what would be like a good lead for you at this point. And especially, you could also technically make a notice check if you wanted to as well, too, to see how many details you can remember about the people who crushed. Because I have some simple ones, but a lot of the Black Hand are surprised, like hooded with like the sigils of a Black Hand, and it's really hard to tell because when they wear black hoods and they put a Black Hand on it, it's just like two tones.
Yeah, you can't really. It was not a good branding idea there.
It wasn't a good effort. But still the circumstances is you do know they're denizens, and that's easy to tell because they're, like I said, every avatar is at least 7 or 8 feet in the world of Ragnarok, and all the denizens are about regular human size, like Mundanian size, and even though there's a lot of like various like non-humanoid races that are still yet to be discovered and discussed in Ragnarok at the moment, you can definitely distinguish what is an avatar and what is not, at least in a kind of a wide swath.
Okay, so should I just be doing a simple spot, or should I add the streets into it?
What is stronger for you, notice or streets?
Streets is stronger, believe it or not.
Go for it. Roll streets.
Okay.
How many dice?
You can do it.
I have 2 dice to roll here. We don't have anything in the pool, do we? No?
You've got 1 in the pool because of Chunthor's wash.
We'll leave that where it is. I have 2 successes, so I rolled 4s on both.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's lucky roll.
In this case then, so by the way, since you are now notoriety 3, all of you, you can bank up to 2 tributes in a single die roll into the tribute pool, should you wish. So but okay, so how do you want to spend your tribute to this point? You've got 2 for street. So
well, we could just use the 1 and then I can bank the other one into our tribute pool, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, let's do that.
So by banking I think how I view this, like if the goal is to basically go and try to like get some more information on where the Black Hand is, like you've got a connection, like you've been here before, right? Like you literally came in here looking for the Black Hand originally before you had your showdown.
Done this all. Been there, done it. Yeah.
Done this. So your mindset is like, I'm gonna go back to my initial point of contact, right? Like you had a tavern who was also a bookie who kind of hooked you up with this, gave you a lead onto it. He's part of like the Ekorgond Magigard. Yeah, sure. Ekorgond Magigard that's inside of there. And you at least know that he frequents the tavern in which you met him at, and you're going to go in there. So give me a tavern name that would be in Ekorgond at the moment. That's where you came at frequently.
The Slutty Pigeon.
Slutty Pigeon. All right. So So you guys walk into the slutty pigeon, whose sigil on the front is just like basically a winged bird that has a veil over the front of its beak dangling to the side, who's striking a seductive pose.
How suggestive.
Very masculine veil.
Yeah,
Very
masculine.
masculine veil.
Masculine veil.
And they basically, you slide open the door and you walk into a lower level, and by lower level I mean a rowdy kind of tavern that's filled with both denizens and avatars alike. You kind of pop in and it's a big long bar that kind of snakes around. In fact, if I'm going to be creative here, you kind of see that it's one bar and it's laid out like a big S that curves around, and then where kind of the arcs of each one would be is kind of where the bartenders are. And then all along the side you can see that these little micro stages, like they're stages that are just no bigger than like a large table that would seat 4. And you can see that there are bards, dancers, jugglers. You can even see a few avatars are up there trying to legend smith to the audience around them. And there's like 15, and so just the cacophony of noise between like dancing and drinking and laughing and moaning and singing and talking, it's just a lot as you kind of hop into there. But you can also see that the bar is pretty busy as it curves along the front. And, I won't say it's like Mardi Gras packed, but it's definitely a busy day at the Slutty Pigeon.
Fair enough. What was my contact's name here?
Your contact's name was Mordecai.
Good name.
Mordecai the Anti-Magi.
It's got a certain alliteration to it.
Yeah, and Mordecai is basically one of the upper level higher guards, but they agreed to come down and meet you in this neutral territory as part of the process of basically continuing to look around like trying to find ways to break apart the Black Hand as you can. And the lead that they originally gave you basically told you basically the traveling path of some known Black Hands, and you attempted to ambush them, which is what happened. So you're at the Slutty Pigeon. Mordecai is not within visual distinction. It is a pretty busy place right now. So just walking in, you do not see him at a glance. But again, you also knew he had to come down from the second level to even meet you at this area.
All right. So I guess we'll leave Spunk outside. And
you can also unsummon Spunk.
I'll unsummon. Yeah. Snap that out. And then I'll look to everyone. Now, I want to warn you, this place is really strange. As far as taverns go, it is probably 4 out of 6 stars. It depends on what you're looking for, really. The food, I wouldn't waste coin on it, certainly.
I am personally affronted by all of these trying to legend smith.
Yes, well, I think you should out-legend-smith him. Maybe we could earn some additional coin.
Done deal! And Carthusis goes to stand on top of the bar.
You're going to stand on the middle of the S of the bar?
Yes.
Okay, so as you attempt to kind of like elbow your way through and you kind of slowly start to climb up on the bar, you hear the bar keeps going, hey, the stage is off to the left. No legend smithing on the bar.
Gorf stares at him with his Intimidate too.
Okay. All right. So do you want to actually this would be a great one. Let's skill what skill this would be. Because you're using your so you want to use your ability Intimidate is what I'm hearing, right? You want to activate. Okay, so which skill does Intimidate use, or did I not place it? Intimidate, inspiration. It's a brutalizer. I got to make sure we have a place to put these as well too. Okay, I did not assign a skill to it yet. Okay, so Intimidate, we're gonna definitely do Brawl. All right, I'm sorry, Bash. Yes. So Bash is absolutely an Intimidate skill.
Okay.
All right, so roll Bash right now.
I got 1-4.
Okay. Do
Out
you
of
want to
my
use any
five.
from the tribute pool?
You got two.
Do I have so for Intimidate 2? Do I have to get 2 tributes in order to use it?
You don't
Is
have
that-
to do. You don't have to do 2. It just depends on how effective you want it to be. Like I haven't really set a difficulty for this since your goal is to just intimidate it. And your second level intimidate or your second tier. What did we decide the extra thing did? It was you unlock it with intimidate 1, but then usually you take an upgrade on that ability. And I'm looking at it right now. I didn't put any in there. So just be additional targets for sure. Like you can take that into it, and you can probably do intensity of it, right? So like raise.
Yeah, I would definitely use it to hone. So intense.
Okay.
Instead of it being a spread, it's intense on that.
Right.
So
it makes
saddle
sense.
up. Boom.
So
I'll take that extra tribute.
Okay. So if you want to spend, sorry. Does cost 1 tribute in order to do into it. So it costs 1 tribute to have it go off. So here's the good news, is that you have 2 to spend, but since you took 2 ranks in it and you chose intensity, then the first time you take it, it only works against denizens. But if you take one with like if you choose intensity as an upgrade onto it, it allows you to use it against avatars as well too. So basically, even if they were an avatar, because you took a tier 2 in it, it would still work. And you only have to spend 1 tribute on it to activate it. So you don't have to do an additional one. So you can bank that other one if you want to.
Oh,
Oh yeah, I only got 1. So
okay.
Just
so then we
the
don't have to use one from the So just use it. Yeah. So what does this intimidate look like then? As you're staring down the barkeep who's like.
When he starts talking, I muscle up to the bar, and I just put my elbow on the bar and stare at him intently. You let her do what she wants to do.
You kind of
look to do.
The bartender looks at you and sees like again the fact that he thought you were wearing that you were covered in tattoos, but now that you've gotten a little closer, he can see you're clearly wearing the flayed skin.
He can see the stitches.
Like he can see the flayed skin of something else that was tattooed that you are now wearing, and just how huge you are. Like, I mean, you clearly take up like the breadth of 3 denizens on your own as you're kind of going there. So he kind of looks at Carthusis and looks at you again, looks at Carthusis, and he just books it. Like he just leaves the bar, just like drops the glass that he was preparing and just leaves.
So, as he's dropping the glass, I grab the glass before it breaks.
Nice. I guess it's self-serve now.
Like has the bar that no one else can be on. And Carthusis, with legend smithing, elaborates what of their journey they can share, like pitching it up to like the nth power with everything of like where they've been, their companions that have been smashed, how that ties into their local culture, like a couple of local jokes in there just for them. And then also ends with avatars and denizens, sit up, listen. Us future rock gods are here a question. We seek information. Mordecai.
Okay. Awesome.
I gotta get in on this.
We seek not the foot rat or shredder, but the black hand. Fight us and be deader.
Amazing.
All right. Well, take that legend smithing, roll it. Like take the stage, roll up that legend smithing.
Can I assist in any way with like a sick slap on the bass?
If you want to keep it there, and just kind of like keep that undertone, like basically just like dropping the beat, for them. Like by all means, add another dice.
We've got 2 in the pool right now too. If you need to.
Yeah. All right, go for it, Carthusis. Yeah. Roll it.
All right, so is that 3 extra?
So it's if you want to use both from the tribute pool, it's technically you get 1 die roll because of the assist, and then you have 2 tributes in the tribute pool.
Okay, well I already got 3 with the extra.
How many did you roll, by the way? Just
and then what I was rolling.
So how much did you roll, just so I can hear it?
Okay, 4, 4, 4, and a 1.
No. How many dice did you roll?
I rolled 4. I have
Okay, so you had 4.
3
So you
in
have 4 in
legendsmithing, and I got 1 from their name is not what I
from
said
Chunthor.
before.
From Chunthor.
Chunthor.
A
Yeah.
single black tear rolls down Chunthor's weeping
No,
mask.
because
I know what you said.
it was
earlier.
me saying it, but Carthusis will probably say it differently.
Okay, fair enough.
So if I have an extra one, I'll do it to then like bank some stuff.
So
Okay.
so basically you said that you got 3.
I got 3 4s and a 1.
Okay, so you have 3 that you rolled from your roll, and now technically, if you wanted to, you could use the tributes from the tribute pool. But even with 3, that's pretty great. You know what I mean? So it basically allows you to generate that much notoriety, and everything that you talked about, like basically since it's so unprecedented what happened, the fact that you stood up, basically came in, stood on the bar and started talking, and as you started like going your eulogy, you started telling the tales of defeating the Beatworm inside of the land of the ice and snow, and basically it's taking care of these generous citizens, and some of your groupies have already kind of come in, and they are there to basically support and back you up, in addition to kind of the base beat that Chunthor is continuing to kind of lay down as part of the background. It's subtle, but it's basically taking the room from where it is. And as you scream like Mordecai, as you're kind of running there, you kind of see as a lot of heads do turn in the room, and you do see that there is a figure who seems to be shocked that their name is being thrown out in the middle of this giant tavern. And you kind of all look towards, or at least everyone who was there all follows where the eyeballs are, and you've got the whole room's attention, at least this part of the slutty pigeon's attention, right? Like the back of the room's having a hard time hearing you, but they know something's going on, so they're at least looking. And at least everyone in this one knows the name. I already forgot it. I forgot your name. Squid Fingers. Yeah. They all know the name Squid Fingers in this at the moment, and you can see they're like, okay, yeah, this is what we want. Like this is great, and they all raise their mugs like as you kind of finish the tales of the Frost Troll. And you can see though at this point, as you're ending the tale, you can see that there are a couple of like other avatars who are about Gorf size start to like come into the room too, and they're making eyes at you as you're starting to like finish up your legend smithing, or starting to make their way through the crowd to get closer to where you are.
But did I spot Mordecai in all of this after the show?
Mm-hmm. All of you basically, Mordecai was called out just from the sheer head turning of it all.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess I'll mosey over that direction while they're handling the bar.
All right. Are you gonna stay up there, Carthusis? Are you gonna do a reprise, or
Carthusis did what they meant to do. It's time to go amongst the pit and get the accolades.
All right. So as you get close, you actually see like the two large. They could be avatars, but they actually look like two werebears for the purposes of this. But one of them has like a shocking like blue mohawk that's part of their fur that's been like pieced up and then shocked with blue, and the other one has these very like kind of I won't say like kind of ichthya like fish-like features attached to it. So one basically looks like a giant bear, the other one kind of has like a long snout that its nose has kind of got into it, and when it smiles, it's got like just metal teeth along the front of it. And they both help you down from the bar as you kind of are finishing your presentation, and they're like, all right, so I know you're new here to Ekergon, but usually you got to pay a fee in order to do some legend smithing on the side, but we're going to let this one go right now. And they both look at each other, we can buy you a drink.
Carthusis gives them an up down that is like part, like that's like
assess.
It's not like what? No, it's like an up down, like looking their metal and be like, yeah.
Okay. and they both like slap you on the back as they both pull out, and they go and you can see that behind them is the terrified barkeep that Gorf totally over intimidated, and they kind of turn and goes, all right, 3, and
As long as my band drinks with us.
all right, fine. First round's on us. So, and they all sit and they basically start shooting the shit with you, and you start swapping some stories about their both tales. You find that they're both you actually find out that they're called Bite and Rash, and they're two like brothers that have banded together who both had this vision. So Bite and Rash are like, and they picked up some work doing extra security in Ekorgon because they haven't really decided what their next move is yet. So they're continuing to like just kind of trade food and board and money. But this has got them all riled up again, and they're really excited about it. They're happy to kind of like hear some of your tales. So, but Gargamel, in the meantime, you didn't get the free drink from Bash and Rash, but you go up and you kind of see Mordecai, who seems to be like kind of embarrassed that you caught him here on his own, kind of a situation, as he kind of looks up to you and goes, "Oh, Gargamel."
Oi, it seems as if there has been a slight misrepresentation of your services.
In the sense that?
Look, you gave us the information that we asked for. However, it led to my band's demise. And as I know that satisfaction is something that you strive for in all of the information that you sell to the avatars here, obviously, you're going to want to help my new bandmates out at a drastically reduced price.
I mean, I wasn't the one. I'm certainly wasn't going to try to say that the Black Hand was any kind of easy. So,
I apologize. I shouldn't. This is it. Allow me to get our negotiator over here. Gorf.
Gorf, you hear Gargamel yell out in the middle of the room.
Could you help? I'm not very good with words, I'm afraid.
Oh, Gorf, he needs some schmoozing.
Yeah, could you smooze, please?
Get the schmoozing.
Now,
I take out one of my drumsticks from my belt.
Yeah, if you're ready to tell us exactly where the Black Hand is, I'll make sure that Gorf stops schmoozing. But until then, I'm going to go get a drink with Carthusis.
He kind of like trails you as you walk away from it, looking at this giant. It's like, really? I have to negotiate with?
I'm gone.
All right, you're gone. He looks to Gorf and goes.
In the background, Carthusis is like, yeah.
Well, and people are resonating. You're all. I mean, basically, you've turned what is kind of an otherwise kind of, mediocre night into like a fucking party, dude. Like everyone's getting drinks now, and the bartenders are looking real happy right now that you've not only brought in a whole bunch of extra rowdies. I mean, they're both happy, and they're also a little annoyed because this is not the shift that they signed up for, kind of a situation. But hey, it's life in Ragnarock for you.
The first drink is on Bite and Rash. Gargamel, which is lucky because it's like $9 beer night. Apparently,
I always bring my own, mate. I crack open a beer that I brought in.
Okay, great. You drink.
I'm loving the freaking like Johnny Depp vibe off of you, man. This is great.
I didn't intend to get there, but there we are.
Well, it's where I ended up. There was no map when I saw you. I just followed the smell, and here we are.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Thank you.
So Malachi looks towards you, Gorf, and goes, "So, you're with the muck fucker, huh?"
Yeah. I'm here for negotiation. I put one drumstick down. It's like, very heavy.
Yeah, I can say you actually kind of see it bends the weight a little bit of the table because it's not like a solid table. It's got like four tables on it, and it kind of bends a little bit as you get closer into it. And Malachi looks and goes, "Well, no, I can't say I've heard of you guys before, but that Gargamel guy seemed to have been pretty new. Do you know what you guys are getting into with the Black Hand at all? I mean, they're modest denizens just like me, but they have made some kind of deal with some kind of devil to make their magic strong."
Mm-hmm.
You really want to go after them?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
See, this is why we got Gorf.
Mm-hmm.
No, go just get the information, go. You got it. You got this.
I haven't said anything. Okay. All right. God, it's like they just get dumber the more they come. Okay. Look, I'm so sorry about what happened to Gargamel's friends, all right? And it looks like you've picked up a new band with you guys. It's fine. I mean, it's going to it. I have no skin in this game other than I am very okay. All right. Oh man, you smell just as bad as he does. Oh God. Okay.
That's saying something.
Gargamel's like, wait, what?
Did they sew your what? Did they sew your
Oh,
skin on?
you like my outfit?
Yeah.
Would you like to be a part of it?
He like pulls his head back more and goes, okay, all right, so I'll admit it was a skewed fight. It wasn't supposed to go down the way that it was, but I didn't know that until after it was done. Okay, this time I'll be very clear with you. They're in the city. I can tell you at least one of the locations that I think they're hiding out in. Here's the deal, though. I mean, I'm supposed to be the one killing them, or at least getting the information to it. So I just am going to need proofs to make sure they go into it. And then if you get them, I will bring them up to the High Council, and I will make sure that they knew that you were the ones that brought these guys down. All right? I'll even bring you up.
Why don't you come show us where you think they are?
He kind of like looks at his outfit and looks at you and goes, you know, I'm kind of in uniform.
I can take you out of it.
That's okay. Here, he kind of like pulls out a sheath like of parchment and starts like writing a map down, kind of showing parts of the Ekragon, like the different layouts into, and goes, here, I'll tell you what, it's a front, all right? So they are a potion vendor in the front side, but underneath, I've heard that the Black Hand often likes to meet down there. They usually do it after sunset, you know, on whatever time of the hour that mages think that their power is greatest. I don't know. I'm not one of them. I don't understand this process, but here, he kind of like circles out and draws a part into it. You can see it's on the second layer of the city, and it's one of the small like townships where the potion front is. So he kind of like slides.
Thank you, Morty.
Yeah, no, sure. This one's
tousle his hair.
Oh man, it's so coarse and rough. Like, walk away.
Pick up my drumstick, put it in my bag.
God. He
Got it.
goes away.
Awesome.
Good work. Excellent.
Knocking.
I'm good at negotiating.
We're astounded. Really, it is impressive.
He's fantastic at it.
That's what you want to hold
the
this?
place where we need to go.
Do you give?
I don't want to give it to Gargamel. He's sticky.
Yeah, I know.
Carthusis,
I'll give it to Carthusis once they. What is Carthusis doing at this point? Do we want to know?
I mean, Bash and Crash.
Carthusis has been strutting around, holding the round that has been bought for them. Looking around for their bandmates, actually. Any that weren't in there is actually holding other beers in their fist. But if enough time passes, those beers become Carthusis's.
Gargamel has a traveler, so Gargamel's good.
Has a traveler?
Yeah, has his own beer. He brought it from home.
So he's
the
drinking
his traveler beer.
I don't drink anything that messes with my emotions.
Well, Bash and Crash have finished their beer a while ago, and they've already ordered a second for them. They haven't ordered more beers for your whole bandmates, but they can definitely tell that they're at least 2 or 3 in at this point. They're on duty, but at this point it is a party enough where, like, you know, Bash at this point, which is the more kind of shark-ish looking one that's kind of built and has the big teeth, and he's now standing up on the table kind of in the same place that you were originally, Carthusis.
On
And
the
he's
bar?
on the bar, yeah, like where you
Only
were originally.
Carthusis stands there.
Okay. Well, he's up there right now talking about the squid fingers, about how it was an ordinary night coming into it. And it's like, here we were sitting, enjoying our lame jobs. What are we even doing? We may as well be back in the land of the ill-fitted and the dumb at this point, sitting here looking into it when these squid fingers come in and tell us these tales and remind Bash just how much it matters to me to be able to go out there and bash, and then Crash goes down there and crash, and we are what are we doing here? And you kind of see as he throws the beer down, and he kind of takes, the apron that's kind of part of the job, and like throws it back in the air and goes, "We're fucking avatars. We're not security. We're supposed to be out there taking on the
Brackhand,
taking on the monsters, trying to squell the silence, doing the things that we've always wanted to do but cannot. So fuck this place." And they both lift up a middle finger, and they go back and goes, "Let's get drunk." And everyone just raises their hands up and cheers. And the bartenders are doing everything they can to just, just dish out as many drinks as possible.
Carthusis heads over to the bandmates that haven't already headed towards them.
Yeah, well, that was pretty punk rock. That's we got the map. Here you go. Malachi was super helpful. All he needed was a little bit of schmoozing from Gorf, and now we have a place to go to and an ambush to set up.
Very, very impressive schmoozing, I must say. It was very impressive.
We keep him around just for that. That's pretty good.
Yes, it's a shame it doesn't seem that you have any other skills, but schmoozing, that is an important skill.
For one who doesn't have a lot of skills in schmoozing, they tend to schmooze very well. I
think we're using that word wrong. But
I think we're using it wrong, but it's okay.
Well, it's his translation of schmooze.
Well, I hate to be the wet blanket of the night, but we have gone over our original time, and as much as
we're just got to the good stuff, man.
I know we're just about getting the good stuff. This is my fault for spending so much time on trying to update and reapply your characters.
It's also our fault for being hams and enjoying like the role play and digging deep into it. So we all have blame here.
We haven't actually even done a lot of the just meaty role play stuff. We've been doing a lot of combat to kind of see how combat plays out. And there's still a part into it, but this was nice to see that it's still like the role play is still it's still a role playing game, right?
Well, and we use so many skills. We use skills all over the place.
Use skills,
different skills, all crazy different skills.
Legend smithing.
Yeah, the way that it's actually supposed to be used.
As opposed to any other time that I use.
And normally I would.
Fantastic. By the way, that was great.
Did you write that down? Just
when it was established that there was a bar that no legend smither was allowed to be on, I then started writing down what I would say, because I was like, I'm getting on this bar and I will say something that rhymes.
Archaea,
and then that's when I wrote it down.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's how legend smithing should be used.
Absolutely.
Fast notes and direct implementation as much as it can be done. Yes.
Don't tell
Incidentally,
me.
I wrote down all that stuff. The slutty pigeon, bite and rash. This is all good. The Ragnasaurus Rex. This is
oh my
all
God.
Good stuff.
Please, I want to see bite and rash.
Yeah, eating a dragon.
Bite and rash. You're getting all this stuff.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Is there any way we could convince Ivan to maybe make this the first of 2 parts?
We can definitely. I can, especially if we're going to play with this group again. I think we need to continue this so that we can see how some upper level combat with Black Hand looks like a little.
Maybe we can have it for the first Friday in November, possible. Because we have a whole lot of things planned for October. But
and do you have other bandmates that are out there in the world somewhere that could show up as well? Right.
Yeah, they could. I could show up as well too, because at this point you've got enough notoriety. If you ran into someone from an adventure at some point, I wouldn't say no, and it'd be totally fine. And we can see what it looks like when magic is at the hand of the avatars as well too.
Yeah,
Kind of
somebody
see
who
how it
wasn't
goes.
eaten by trolls or crushed by massive erections.
Right, because you've been having beasts. you've been fighting. We've fought a lot of beasts and we've fought some undead. But I want to see what like some upper level baddies look like when they're going up against you. So dope. Okay, well, I don't want to get too deep into the feedback because we can all offline with that. But chat,
Sure.
if you're feeling like there's stuff that you're like, oh, that part was awesome, or I really like this part, or this part felt flat for me, like, dude, just throw it out, just put it all out there, because we're always happy to hear, happy to listen, happy to kind of see where people's feelings are as far as the game goes. But then in addition to that, we will offline and kind of talk more when we get into it. But because I want to respect everyone's time commitment that they originally had in being a part of the show, including all the people who are behind the scenes, and I've done enough streaming to show to understand and know that, especially in circumstances like this where we're just kind of playing and having a good time, the people who do tend to suffer are the ones who are like have to continue to work behind the scenes, the cameramen, the editors.
Big old shout out to JB for doing that.
JB and Alex, Alex Redeye, who's currently in the chat as
they're
well.
They're all there, and
thank you,
our moderators. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I know. Well, not always weak, always bringing the sword down when necessary. But we've been really good. I have not had to see the Banhammer come out really at all yet.
Not at all
in the inception of this channel so far.
Oh.
So
we got Phoenix Goth again. I just want to make sure we give a shout out to that mod as well.
Right. Yeah, thank you, Phoenix Goth. So
and Penguini here 11, who has been like
with us this whole time. Yes.
Yes, that's right.
And again, if
obviously not always weak.
Yeah, obviously.
If you enjoyed what you saw here and you want to take a stab at this ridiculous game that we're doing, please feel free, email me at ben@huntersentertainment.com.
We are doing playtesting.
Yeah, we are doing our playtests for the foreseeable future. So, and we'd love to add you to our list.
And
so just send me an email. Yeah.
Sorry, I don't mean to be interrupting. I just want to make it clear that one of the things that we're really excited about doing is blind playtesting, where we basically don't explain the game. We just hand you the book and we say, run it. Because at some point this product will have to exist, and there won't be a person who has experience in the game to be able to run it, So we want to see what it feels like to actually pick up that book for the first time and run a game all on your own. So
this is really easy. You basically described the entire mechanics of the game in less than half an hour, and we made new characters essentially. I mean, this is an
there's a lot of upgrades. Yeah, these are higher level characters, which I thought was fascinating because we hadn't really explored that yet.
Yeah,
but
and
if
anyone's interested in seeing a beta playtest of this with some of these same characters, but in lower, Carthusis is a part of it. I can literally only talk about my character with it. We have that in our VOD on Twitch and also on YouTube.
Well said. Thank you, Mark.
Yeah. And just in general, for Hunter's Gathering, it's a variety show of all this awesome content that you can find, behind the scenes, behind the magic of Hunter's Entertainment, and then just like game design in general when it comes to your role-playing games, because, RPGs are more than Dungeons and Dragons. Dungeons and Dragons is amazing. There's so much other things there. So we explore that on Fridays, and on Tuesdays, we put that exploration into actual fact that you can see. And we're doing Outbreak Undead, and it's very specialized. I heartily recommend for you to tune into Tuesdays, 6 p.m. PT for Hunters Presents, because not only are we doing Outbreak Undead, a campaign that literally encompasses what 2020 is right now, except if 2020 was started back in 1995. That is what we are getting.
That is a hellish proposition, Markia.
I mean, and we have Nox, who has been your Gargamel, who is also our GM for this epic campaign that's happens. And not only that, but there's an additional element to it with Foreteller and Scry that you actually, if you look in your upper Twitch corner right now, you will see a little purple hat. And you're like, what is this little purple hat? Click that little purple hat and you will know more about Scry, that you could also possibly give resources to our long-standing campaign that we have that is going on right now on Tuesdays, but we hope to see you there. Of course, I have been joined by Knox Weiler Birth, Ben Dunn, Caleb Cargamel. I don't know your last name.
Chunthor. It's Chunthor.
Like in Ohio.
Cleveland Chunthor.
Caleb, I knew your last name before this exact moment, and I'm so disappointed in myself. Cleveland, yes. Of course. You're literally a city.
You got there in the end. It was fantastic.
And Ivan Van Norman. Thank you so much to our moderators, our tech wizard, Zara, doing this. If I didn't, I think I already said it, but I've been your host, Marquia McCarty. I'm not good about saying my own name, and we hope to see you every Friday. This upcoming Friday, we'll be going into Foreteller and Scry and how that goes into our campaign of Outbreak Undead that happens on Tuesdays. Fun, interesting stuff, and really hope to see you then. But
Tuesday, go see Rag and Bone on Tuesday. Rag and Bone, because it's
Outbreak
amazing. It really honestly
long form
is.
Storytelling. Do it.
And the best part is that you get involved. I mean, all the hours that you're watching right now will allow you to go and buy the things that will either
you can invest in the story.
Players.
It's super cool.
Yeah, it's like buying stocks, but for the storytellers that are in there.
Yeah,
so.
like you want people to live, right? Or maybe you like really
maybe not. Maybe just want to give them cool stuff, or you want to help them with their tasks. But we'll get to that later.
Well, I mean, we'll get to it later.
A lot of stuff is coming.
As a possible part 2 of this, look for it in November because there will be more Ragnarock coming. So yeah, that's gonna happen. And you already have been at huntersentertainment.com if you want to sign up for a playtest for Gods of Metal Ragnarok. But all of this has been amazing, gentlemen. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kia. Thank you so much.
Thanks for leading the charge. We'll see you on Tuesday.
See you then, y'all.
Bye.
Rock on, everybody.
Bye.